Yo, yo, YouTube, what's up? It's your boy, Sports and Fitness Rants. I'm back with another one for you guys. Please click the like button. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, please. It helps me grow the channel, helps me get information out to you guys, man. We got to stop this, man. We got to stop the nonsense that's going on social media. We got to stop the nonsense that's going on ESPN, Fox News, or Fox Sports, excuse me. We got to stop all this, man. We got to get the real information out there to the people that want the real information, right? Not the fake stuff that these guys are telling you, biased opinions, they have agendas, things like that. You have to listen to the people who actually watch the games, that actually know about the sport, that witness this stuff. You can't listen to, some of these people telling you their opinions and they never seen half these guys play before, It's really amazing to me how many people will come at you on social media or for your opinions, and they'll make their own assertions when, these people weren't even alive, for some of these people's careers, man. But they'll talk to you or tell you, because they watched a couple of YouTube clips or something, or they, went to Basketball Reference and looked at some numbers. They think that they know everything about what happened, in the 80s or the 90s or even the early 2000s, which is hilarious to me. But that's why me and a lot of other people like me are making videos or out here on YouTube, man, because we got to stop the mainstream media, from putting out this false information, man. They're telling you lies about sports. They're trying to rewrite history. That's the thing. That's the thing about it. They're literally trying to rewrite history with their opinions and their feelings, for their agendas, man. And we have to stop this. Everybody needs to stop this, right? We have to put our foot down. All the real content creators, all the real NBA fans out there, all the fitness fans out there. We got to stop this nonsense that's going on, man, out here with these fake fitness people. They're photoshopping pictures. They're giving you false sense of hope. They're trying to sell you these products. I ain't going to sell you nothing, man. I'm just here to give you the information and give you the motivation that you need, man, whether it's fitness-wise or sports-related, all right? I don't need you to buy nothing from me. I'm not trying to push a product on you, none of that stuff, man. I'm trying to give you the real information, the things that work, that I've done before in my life. But anyway, back to the video. This video is a video that it's not going to be a long video. I want to just, make a couple of quick observations that I've made over the years of watching basketball. And this video is about, in my estimation, why Kobe Bryant was not able to catch Michael Jordan, right? He was never able to get to that level, right? He was right there, man. If Mike is up here, Kobe was there. You know what I'm saying? But he was never able to get there. And one of the reasons I think, or the main reason I believe that he was never able to achieve that level of success or greatness that Jordan did, it all came down to mentalities, right? So Kobe's been known for being, if not equivalent or, right there with Jordan mentally, right? As far as their, with the Mamba mentality everybody talks about, right? Kobe had a certain way about him that he took from Michael Jordan, or he borrowed some of that from Michael Jordan, right? Studied Jordan, and he developed his own, his own lane, right? Kobe has his own lane, the Mamba mentality, right? But I think it's part of that Mamba mentality is part of what held Kobe back from getting to that level. Now, don't get me wrong. I like Kobe. I'm a huge Kobe Bryant fan. I like everything about his game. I liked everything about his, even his post-game press conferences I liked listening to. So that's the thing. He sounded just like Mike in the post-game press conferences. Like Jordan's post-game press conferences were a thing of beauty, man. Listening to him speak, it might sound stupid, but I'm telling you right now, when you listen to Michael Jordan speak in his post-game press conferences, and then you listen to somebody else speak that's on, it's not the same. It's almost like when you have you listen to certain presidents speak, right? And then there's other presidents that you've heard speak. They don't sound, they don't really move you, right? Like Jordan's post game press conferences, man, like yo, there were times, man, that like yo, he said things and the way he said it, his demeanor, there was no playing around, there was no, side talk, there was no agenda really there, where other people have had these agendas when they speak in post game, they're doing this passive aggressive now. Anyway, so with Kobe, wanting to emulate Jordan so much is that I think he kind of lost sight of really, what made Jordan so great. And this is what I mean by that. So like with Kobe, what I think was holding him back immensely was his need or his, ability to make tough shots, right? Kobe had a knack, I've heard people call him the greatest, difficult shot maker in NBA history. And I don't know how you gauge that, or debate that or whatever, but it was true to a point. Kobe did make very difficult shots with ease. He made them look routine. And that was part of his problem. That was part of the problem for Kobe, is that he always felt that he could make the shot, right? Or that he could, make a shot out of anything. I've seen videos of Kobe, I watch games with Kobe and he's got, 2-3 guys on him. He's behind the backboard in a bad angle. And Kobe will still take that shot though, man. He'll still take it. He'll have the turnaround fade away with hands in his face, like I said, behind the backboard. Like I said, sometimes he's in a bad spot footwork wise, and he'll still, get that shot up, try to get that shot up. And to his credit, like we said, he was very good at making difficult shots, look routine. But that right there was I feel like the dynamic, the difference between Jordan and Kobe. Whereas Jordan would never take shots like that. He just would never do that. Unless, granted, maybe the shot clock's running down and, he's got the ball late, and he had to take maybe a bad shot or a quote unquote bad shot or a difficult shot. And Jordan had taken difficult shots in his career. We've all seen videos or, like I said, I've watched a lot of games with Jordan and he's made some crazy layups where he's got to switch the hand in midair and, put it over a guy's hand or something like that or whatever. And those shots are extremely difficult. But that was Jordan's creativity going to the rack. What you didn't see from Michael Jordan as opposed to a Kobe, like I just explained, is you never saw Jordan in, the flow of the game or in the flow of the offense take a crazy or a off-balance shot or a shot that he had no business taking or forcing shots. Jordan rarely, like I told you, he would rarely force a shot. Now, there were times where maybe he forced the issue where he wanted to score a certain amount of points. Maybe he had, like you said, he took it personal, right? Mike took it personal. Mike took a lot of things personal. So maybe he was out there on a mission. So maybe, he would shoot a little bit, extra against certain players and against certain teams, based off of whatever, was going on in his mind at the time. But overall, that's why Michael Jordan was able to be so efficient and score in such a high number, in such a high volume, and yet still shoot 50% for his career. All right? That's not something that's easy to do, right? I mean, you look at other guys in history, maybe they're able to score a lot of points, but their field goal percentage is nowhere near where Jordan's was, right? So that was I feel like that's what was holding Kobe back from getting to that next level. It was the feeling inside of him where he was gonna go out there and it didn't matter. Like I said, if he had 2 guys on him, 3 guys on him, he was in a bad spot, his footwork was all messed up, he didn't have the right angle, he'll still take those shots, and he's taken a lot of those shots in his career, which is why his field goal percentage suffers when you compare it to Jordan's field goal percentage. It was the quality of shots, the kind of shots that Kobe would take on a regular basis, man. Regular basis, Kobe would take these crazy shots sometimes, man. And like I said, this is not a knock on Kobe. This is not a knock on his game at all. I'm just explaining to you guys the difference between what Michael Jordan was able to do and the reason why Kobe was never able to quite get to that level. And that's my opinion. Is like I said, I think it's because of his ability to make tough shots, which then made him take more tough shots, right? And I think that had a negative effect on obviously his field goal percentage, but just the overall, feeling and the overall efficiency of his game, and I think that was the beauty of Jordan. You know, he always was in control. He was never not in control, and that's how he played. And because he was so disciplined, Kobe, who was very disciplined also, was so caught up in trying to surpass Jordan that I think he lost sight a little bit, of really what made Jordan Jordan. If Michael Jordan was a guy that, went out there and averaged 30 points a game, but he was shooting, 41% from the field his whole career, he wouldn't really be Michael Jordan, because you can easily say that with those kind of, with, like I said, with that almost leads you into a path to call you almost like a ball hog, right? Or a chucker, when you're taking shots that you probably shouldn't be taking. Maybe you're not, in the flow of the offense, or the flow of the game. And like I said, you're taking bad shots, low percentage shots. Kobe took a lot of low percentage shots in his career compared to Jordan. And like I said, that was the difference between them both. Kobe never met a shot he didn't think he could make, and everybody loved Kobe for that. And that's why Kobe was great, which is why who he was, right? Because he didn't have that fear. He didn't care. He didn't mind, putting himself out there. And also, don't get me wrong, Kobe played some years, they were scarce, man. There was some scarce years in there, man. They were Ethiopian, he didn't have much in terms of, quote unquote help. He didn't have anything in terms of, another guy that could go and get a bucket whenever they needed. So there were some years there where Kobe had to take bad shots consistently, regularly, because there was nobody else really to help him out, in certain times of his career. He had some, like I said, when Shaq first originally left, there was some really, slim years there, man. They were really tough. And then obviously, after the back-to-back champions that he won in 2009 and 2010, those last, 4 or 5 years of his career, obviously he was hobbled with injuries, and that kind of, decimated him from finishing out his career, a lot, I'm sure a lot, differently than he wanted to. But I just wanted to speak on that, the difference between Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant, and the mentalities were similar but not the same, right? The Mamba mentality was almost a little extra sometimes, where, like I said, Kobe would think he could make any shot, which he could make a lot of those shots. He could. But sometimes he would take these bad shots, man, and then you would have people who would try to flip it and turn it into Kobe's a ball hog, or Kobe's a chucker, or things like of that nature. And we all know that Kobe was not a ball hog, Kobe was not a chucker, but he did have some tendencies every once in a while to deviate, from, quote unquote, the script, whereas Jordan, once Phil Jackson came in and Jordan allowed him to implement the triangle system along with Tex Winter, Jordan sacrificed to fit into the system, and nobody ran it better than those Bulls teams. And the reason that is because your superstar bought into it 100% and was willing to do whatever it took to win. Whereas I feel like Kobe, sometimes he would do whatever it took to win, but sometimes he would try to do too much, right? He wouldn't know when to pull it back, and I think that's what ultimately stopped him from getting the 6th championship, maybe even the 7th championship, or even having, people look at his numbers and giving him, a little bit more of credit for being efficient. Because I always hear people knock Kobe, as an inefficient player, but Kobe was not inefficient. The thing with Kobe, like I just explained, is that Kobe believed that any shot was available to him and any shot he could make. And sometimes that hurt him. But Kobe wasn't necessarily inefficient. It was just that sometimes his mind got the best of him. and he was so competitive, and so driven to be the greatest and to be better than Jordan that I think, like I said, sometimes it got the better of him, and he didn't. Instead of being smarter, he worked harder instead of working smarter, right? He would just get that going. You know what I'm saying? Instead of sometimes pulling it back in, or knowing, this is not a good shot right now. I can get a better one. Mike would always turn down a bad shot and get a better one. Like I said, he never forced anything. So that's just my thoughts and opinions about Kobe and Mike, and the one difference I believe that ultimately separated them. Please click the like button, subscribe to my channel, and YouTube. Y'all be good, man. All right, sports and fitness rants. Let's go.